So after all this talk of Canelo Alvarez sparring Jaron Ennis and gathering the Avengers team to get ready for the pound-for-pound king Terence Bud Crawford, well, the MJ of the sport of boxing, Floyd Money Mayweather, he pulled up on Terence Bud Crawford to give him the Canelo Alvarez blueprint. As you guys see above, that's Floyd and Crawford recently. And we all know Floyd Mayweather has Canelo Alvarez Da Vinci Code. That hasn't changed. Canelo is still the same fighter. Yeah, he got more experience, but do you guys know how much experience Canelo had when he faced Money May? Canelo had 43 fights experience as a unified champ and a fighter who has been pro for 8 years. When Canelo fought Floyd, he was throwing combos and everything. He was looking deadly. He had skills, head movement. Go back and watch the trot fight. Canelo had plenty of head movement. He had plenty of defense. Contrary to what old media wants you to believe that Canelo was just a baby with 43 fights as a unified champ. What? Man, do you guys know what Floyd Mayweather was doing at 23? He was knocking out Corral ass. Tio beat Lomachenko. Devin beat Lomachenko. He became undisputed at 23 or 24. Yeah, 23. Oscar De La Hoya at 23. He beat Chavez Sr. when Chavez only had one loss. He was like 97-1 back then. Obviously, he also had robbery wins as well, but we ain't gonna talk about that. The point is, Chavez was 33 years old while Oscar was only 23, and he smoked Chavez Sr. to the point he stopped him twice. In fact, he forced Chavez Sr. to quit. Would you believe that? Meanwhile, y'all want to tell me Canelo was a baby? If anything, Floyd was the grandpa. He was 36 years old, going on 37. Moving up to his 5th weight class to fight Canelo Alvarez at his bully weight. And do you guys know what Floyd Mayweather did? He made Canelo Alvarez his easiest fight of his career. And you know that's a statement, because all of Floyd Mayweather fights are easy work for real. If Canelo was the easiest, oh man, that's the disrespect I'm talking about, which that's exactly what Floyd said about Canelo Alvarez. He said, that was my easiest fight. So what I'm saying to you guys, Canelo was throwing combos, something he doesn't even do today, like he was doing when he fought Floyd. If you don't believe me, go watch Canelo versus Bivol. How many combos did he throw? Now you may say, Canelo only did that because Floyd was so small he thought he could bully Floyd. But ironically, Floyd was the one backing him up majority of the fight. The reality is, when Canelo fought at 154 and 160, he threw more combos. However, at 168, he's relying more on his power, which that's what he's going to need against Crawford anyway. He needs to see if he can land one on Crawford, how Crawford is going to react. But that's what I mean when I say, when Canelo was throwing combos, he was even more dangerous. But now, you can read him, and I believe Crawford will. So let's see how Terence Bud Crawford is going to do with this supposedly improved version of Canelo Alvarez. That's when they hit us with the narrative changed. You see, the agenda is still the same. Discredit all of the coincidentalist fighters. Any fighter, the darker the skin, discredit him more, right? That's the agenda. But they had to cook up a different narrative since the old one was outdated. It's too dusty. It no longer applies. Therefore, they need a new narrative. The other one works the other way around. It's going to make Crawford look good. They done said Canelo, the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. Canelo, he's in his prime now. This ain't the Canelo that Floyd fought. Blah, 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 blah. Canelo pound for pound number one. Canelo this, Canelo that. If the narrative remained after Crawford cooks him, if he's able to with all these disadvantages, guess what? Crawford is the GOAT, literally top 5 of all time. And that's why they want to cook up a new narrative. As soon as Crawford versus Canelo fight was signed, before the fight, they were saying, listen, Crawford is too small. He could barely beat Madrimov. Oh man, Canelo will knock him out with ease. He's too big. He's too strong. We don't want to see it. However, after the fight was signed and announced, all of a sudden, the narrative changed, just like they did with Floyd versus Pacquiao. All of a sudden, Crawford is magically now bigger than Canelo, even though he's moving up 3 weight classes. That logically doesn't make sense. Old media from Maximum Hypocrisy, he went from saying Canelo was too young and inexperienced when he fought Floyd to now saying that Canelo is washed up the moment Crawford is about to fight him. Hello? Is anybody home? Do you guys know Crawford is 38 while Canelo is 34, 35? They are 4 years apart. So if anything, it's Crawford that's washed up. Canelo has all the advantages. He's younger. He's in his own division. Crawford has to move up 3 weight divisions. Canelo is way bigger, much bigger. We all know Canelo Alvarez have the judges in his pocket with all of the robberies he has on his bank account. I mean, from the referee who's going to help Canelo as much as he can. From the fans who's going to cheer everything Canelo do, including a feint, a punch, land or don't land. Meanwhile, Crawford, guess what? It don't matter if he's landing. The fans is not going to be cheering or making any sound unless Crawford is doing damage. On top of all of that, Canelo Alvarez is active. Crawford is inactive. However, you have Maximum Hypocrisy making excuses already, along with old media. How disrespectful. You thought Turkey was on Crawford's side. Turkey is on that Tom and Jerry shit. Maximum Hypocrisy is telling Crawford, are you gonna run when he's moving up 3 weight classes? Nah, Max. Crawford is gonna go straight at him like a bull, as if he's Mike Tyson. Boxing historian. This is old media's boxing historian. Only God knows what Turkey was thinking to bring the Maximum Hypocrisy Max Kellerman to do commentary, to brainwash the fans on what they seeing, to believing what they hearing from their ears instead of what they are seeing with their eyes. That's what they do. Instead of doing all that, give us a mute option to hear the sound of the punches, the corners, and the fans cheering. That's all we asking for. We not asking for much. If you thought all of this is bad, well, let me give you the bad news. Crawford-owned people, the Uncle Toms of the world, they went and synced even lower than old media. They are accusing the clean athlete of taking PEDs and dismissing the fighter who had 7 fighters in his own camp test positive for PEDs, including himself, Canelo Alvarez. Man, what do you guys call that? Man, if you begging for acceptance, please do it in a different way. Have some respect for your own freaking self. You are begging to be in a club you're not welcome in. Anyway, this is the reason why this is the biggest fight in the sport of boxing since Floyd versus Pacquiao. That's right. Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez is the biggest fight since then because this is the Crawford era and he's going to show us come September 13th. I'm telling you, the way Floyd smoked Canelo Alvarez, that performance was so beautiful because I watched that fight like over, I would say almost 1,000 times or over that. Just analyzing it, studying it. Floyd did so much in there. It was truly a masterpiece of the art of sweet science in the sport of boxing. Don't let old media to brainwash you otherwise. Floyd smoked Canelo. Remember, the best version of Floyd is Pretty Boy, the one that fought Corrales. He was 23, 24. What are we talking about? Hearns was 22 when he fought Leonard. Mike Tyson was the undisputed champion of the world, the baddest man on the planet, at 21. Do you guys know that Muhammad Ali was undisputed, the heavyweight champion of the world, knocking out Sonny Liston, the Mike Tyson of his time? Muhammad Ali was saying he the greatest at 22. But let me hear you guys out. Canelo, who is 23, who had more experience than Ali, had way more fights. A fighter like Canelo, who been pro way longer, who was way bigger than Floyd. That guy was inexperienced and a baby. Man, even Stevie Wonder could see this lie. The problem with old media from Maximum Hypocrisy, is that it's one thing if you don't know the truth and you end up contradicting yourself, but it's another when you know the truth, however you choose to lie instead. In that situation, that's hypocrisy. It's so crazy in the NBA and the NFL. Someone brought it to my attention that Max Kellerman is actually calling out the double standards in the sport if he sees them. However, in boxing, it's the other way around. It's the contrary. He is hypocrisy. He the one that was saying all of this, and old media will follow, or vice versa. But it was so impressive that Floyd was actually backing up Canelo majority of the fight. I don't know why Canelo fans tried to say Floyd ran. Ran where? He was backing up Canelo majority of the fight. But here's the thing. Crawford, on the other hand, he's facing a bigger challenge and a bigger obstacle. Crawford is aiming to do what Floyd did ×3 because he's moving up pretty much 3 weight classes against Canelo. When he's 38 years old, you don't do this at a later age. However, if anybody can, I believe Terence Crawford can, because he's a Super Saiyan, as he has been his entire life. I've seen it. From day one, I told you guys, this is the next pound for pound king. He beat my boy, Gamboa. That was the first fighter that actually looked out for me, gave me signed gloves and everything. And it was Crawford that beat him and knocked him out too. But I already knew he was going to do that before that. You see, I have one thing in common with you Canelo fans. I was a fan of Gamboa. So I know exactly how it feels. What Crawford is about to do to y'all boy is something different. And yeah, I went through it. But that's why I knew what was going to happen to Errol Spence, and I know what's about to happen to Canelo. Crawford is going to go Super Saiyan. Probably Ultra Instinct this time. But please keep that same energy, don't flip. Along with old media, don't change the narrative. Keep that same bullshit. Now y'all want to write another story so y'all won't look so dumb. Well, there's going to be a whole lot of people that look dumb come September 13th, along with many more being brokenhearted. So don't get me started with another excuse y'all come up with when Crawford is going up against all odds. He has only the one in his corner, and that's God. With that being said, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comment section below on Floyd pulling up on Crawford to give him the blueprint. Subscribe below, and to be continued on the next episode of Akhi, Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I put that fight in other place right now. I think Crawford is a little better than Mayweather, but Canelo have more experience right now. No, and I think it's totally other fight. I don't want to compare this fight with other fights. I think this fight is one of the best fights in the boxing history, and that's it. Don't get me wrong, okay? He's a good fighter, a great fighter. I always say before I see him calling me out and won the fight and everything, I say before he's a great fighter. But if you look at his career, mention one elite fighter. Just mention me one elite fighter.
We'll fight an elite fighter in September.
Yeah. Okay.
Then we're
we're
gonna
gonna find out.
Then we're
We're
gonna
gonna
find out.
You think this fight does more for your career than fighting David Benavidez?
You can see the career of Terence Crawford or Benavidez. Terence Crawford is undisputed champion in 2 weight classes, many championship fights. So he bring me something to the table.
But what we don't talk about is, Canelo. Steroids. Y'all don't talk about that. So we don't know. We really don't know all the fighters he beat. And he was on. What? He could have been not clean in a lot of fights.
You think he was clean the night he fought?
I'm saying, I don't know. I don't know. That's y'all. Just Canelo. Come on, man. That kid was a cakewalk. Kid, easy.
Chael, here's the problem. Yeah. Would you give Canelo Alvarez credit for beating Terence Crawford?
That's the problem, right? It's a one-way street. I would give Terence a ton of credit for beating Canelo, but no, not the other way around. Canelo's got a hard time even calling for the fight. You think Canelo likes getting called out by the smaller guy and turning down a big money fight? He hates that, but you can't call out the littler guy. You can't tell a dude, come up here and spot me 30 pounds. By the way, I failed drug testing. You've never failed drug tests. I mean, you know how much different it is? You get a juiced-up Canelo versus little skinny Terence Crawford, who's made.
Are we gonna relitigate Canelo Alvarez's drug test?
I'm a drug user. I cheated sport plenty of times. I cheated those same commissions. This is not to relitigate. We know our own. I'm a cheater. I know a cheater when I see one.